So these questions will cover a variety of topics. So let's do the first one. Mr. Chan flies from London to Los Angeles, a distance of 8,800 kilometers, and the flight takes 11 hours and 10 minutes. Okay? His plane leaves London at 9:35, so 9:35 local time in London. Okay. The local time in Los Angeles is 8 hours behind the time in London. So in LA, okay, what do we need to do? We need to do 9:35 minus 8. Okay, so this means it's going to be 1:35 a.m. in LA when he leaves the airport, and it takes 11 hours and 10 minutes. So basically I'm going to add to my 1:35 11.1. Okay, so I'm going to do 11:35 plus 11 and 10 minutes will give me 12:45 p.m. Okay, so he arrives in so it says calculate the local time when the plane arrives in Los Angeles. So he arrives in LA at 12:45 p.m. Okay? Next one. Work out the average speed of the plane in kilometers per hour. Okay, it's given us the total distance, 8,800 kilometers, and then the time it takes. So all we need to do is 800 divided by 11, and then 10 minutes of an hour is 1/6, so 11 and 1/6, okay, and that will give you 788 kilometers per hour, okay, if you did that on your calculator, okay. So, next question. There are 3 types of tickets: economy, business, and first class. The price of these tickets is in the ratio economy, business, first class, 259. And I'm just gonna write this down for you. Okay, so we have economy, okay, business, and first class, and the ratio is 259. Okay. Calculate, and then it says the price of a business ticket, which is the middle one, is $2,350. Okay. Then it says calculate the price of a first class ticket. So in order to do this, we need to do 2,350 divided by 5 to make it 1. Then we need to multiply that by 9. Okay. If you did that on your calculator, you would get $4,230. Okay, that's your answer to that question. Next one. It says, work out the price of an economy ticket as a percentage of the price of a first class ticket. So all we need to do is work out the fraction of 2 to 9. So basically we just need to do 2 divided by 9. Okay, and that will give us 0.2 reoccurring, which if we times by 100, okay, if we times this by 100, we would get 22.2%. Okay, so the economy ticket is 22.2% of first class tickets. Right, next one. The price of a business ticket for the same journey with another airline is $2,240. So $2,240 is the price of a business ticket. So this is the price of a business ticket of another airline. Now it's telling us that the price of a first class ticket is 70% more than a business ticket. Okay? And we need to calculate the price of this first class ticket. So, if we know that this is the business ticket, okay, we know that the first class is going to be 70% more than this. Okay, so first of all we're going to do 0.7 times 2240. Okay, and that will give us $1,568. However, we need to now add this 1,568 to the original price of the ticket because we know it's 70% more. So that means first class ticket is 2240 plus 1,568. That's equal to $3,808. Okay, so that's that question. Right, I'll do another question for you. The price of a business ticket, okay, business ticket now is 180% more than an economy ticket. Okay, so in order to do this one, okay, we need to basically, I'm just going to substitute X as the economy ticket. So let's say the economy ticket, okay, we know its price, okay. However, okay, algebraically we call it X, okay, and that's going to be 100%. We know that the business ticket is 180% more than the economy ticket. So that means if this was 100% of the economy ticket, okay, we actually need to add another 180%. So 180%, I'm going to do 1.8x, okay? So remember, my coefficient of 1 means 1%, therefore my 180% will be 1.8x. And this is going to equal my business ticket, which they've given us the price of in the previous question, which was $2,240. Okay? So what does that equal? So that becomes, okay, 1x plus 1.x is 2.8x equals 2240. X is therefore 2240 over 2.8. Okay, and if you did that on your calculator, you would get $800. Okay? Again, pause the video if you need time to work these things out. Okay? Right, next question. I don't know if you can read this, but I'll just read it out to you. Mr. Chan hires a car in Los Angeles. Okay? The charges are shown below. Okay, so it's $28 per day plus $6.50 per day insurance, and then $1.25 for every kilometer traveled after the first 800 kilometers, and then the first 800 kilometers are included in the price. Mr. Chan hired the car for 12 days and paid $826.50. Find the number of kilometers Mr. Chan traveled in this car. Okay, so let me just recap for you what's happening here. So, what do we have? We have got, he has paid $826.50 for the entire trip, and it takes 12 days. Okay? Now, we know that it costs $28 per day plus $6.50 per day insurance. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 826.50 cents minus 12 times that 28, because this we're going to break down the cost now. So it's 28 times 12 plus the 650 per day as well. So I'm going to times that by 12 as well. Okay. And if you did that on your calculator, that would give you 412.5. Okay. Now, then it says in the question it costs $1.25 for every kilometer traveled after the first 800 kilometers. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to divide this by, so 412.5 divided by 1.25. Okay, and that gives me 330 kilometers. Okay, and the reason, so do you understand what we've done here? So basically we found out how much kilometers he has paid with this amount of money, but the question says find the number of kilometers Mr. Chan traveled in this car, but it did say the first 800 kilometers are included in the price. So finally we need to add 800 to this 330, and that gives us 1,130 kilometers in total. Okay, so that's the total amount he has paid for that journey. Okay, next question. So this time it says, the car used fuel at an average rate of 1 litre for every 10 kilometers. Okay, so if we now know that he travelled 1,130 kilometers, and for every 10 kilometers it costs him $1.30, or sorry, cents. Okay, so 1130 divided by 10 gives us 113, and then finally we just need to multiply 1.3 times 113, and that gives us 146.9, so $146.90. Okay, so next question. So these next questions are pretty tricky. Right, this one is not too bad. Basically this is trial and improvement. Basically you have to work out what x is, okay? So we can rule out 3 to the power 0, which equals 1. 3 to the power of 1 is 3. 3 to the power of 2 is 9. 3 to the power of 3 is 27. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. 3 to the power of 5 is 243. Okay, so we found the answer. So x is equal to 5. Okay? Right, what about, next one is 16x equals 4. So you have to work out x. Well, if you knew your 4 times tables, you would know that 4 squared is 16. Okay? So therefore, x is equal to this, because 16 to a half is equal to the square root of 16. Okay? The square root sign means it's that number to the power of a half. Okay, so x is going to be a half in this case. Okay, right, some more challenging ones. What about this? 8 to the x equals 32. Okay, so I'm going to use some logs to help with this problem. Okay, and I'm going to teach you some log laws. Okay, so if I log both sides, I'm going to do log 8 to the power of x equals log 32. Okay? Now there's a rule that states that log times this term, to whatever that power, you can move this term here. So I can rewrite this x as log 8 equals log 32. Okay? Now, the next thing that we can do is, I can state that 32 is actually 8 times 4. So I can say now, log 32 equals 8 times 4. Okay, let's write this out again. Right, now there's another law which states that log AB equals log A plus log B. Okay, so that's what I'm going to apply here. So I'm going to say this is equal to log 8 plus log 4. So x log 8. Okay, now here's the clever thing that I'm going to do now. I'm now going to make 8 and 4 to the base 2. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So I'm going to write 8 log 2 to the power of 3 equals log 2 to the power of 3 plus log 2 to the power of 2. Okay? Now, notice I can now move my 3's over here, okay, and my 2 here. So this becomes 2x log 2, 3 log 2 plus 2 log 2. Okay? And here's the clever thing now. Now, I can divide log 2 from both sides and I can cancel it. So log 2, get rid of that. Okay, log 2, get rid of that. Log 2, okay, cancel. So I'm left with 2x equals 3 plus 2, therefore x is equal to 5 over 2. Okay, who would have thought x to the power of 5 over 2 will give us that? Okay, but again, here's some log practice. Okay? Right, here's another question for you to practice your logs. So this time, the question is, what is 27 to the power of x is equal to 1 over 9? Okay, how on earth are we going to do this? Okay, so let's log both sides. So I'm going to do log 27x equals log 1/9. Okay, same as last time. I'm going to move this x here, so it becomes x log the power of 27 log 27 equals log 1 over 9. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to. This is where you have to think a little. 9 and 27 are in the 3 times tables. Okay, so actually I'm going to rewrite 27 as 3 to the power of 3. So I'm going to write x log 3 to the power of 3 equals log, and I'm also now going to put 9 in indices format. So I'm going to put 9 to the power of -1. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, anything to the power of -1 means it's 1 over that. Okay, so log 9 to the power of -1. Okay, I'm going to move my indices here, 3 there and -1 there, so it becomes 3x log 3 equals -1 log 9. Well, I can rewrite my 9 as 3 to the power of 2, so let me do that. This becomes log 3 equals -1 log 3 to the power of 3, sorry, to the power of 2. Okay, okay, and this, I'm going to just move my coefficient there, this becomes -2 log 3. Now, what do I have now? I've got a log 3, I'm going to divide both sides to cancel them. Okay, they cancel, so I'm left with 3x is equal to -2, therefore x is equal to -2 over 3. Okay, so who would have thought -2 over 3 is x? Okay, but this is a way that you can work these sort of questions out. Okay, and the key, I suppose, is to look for numbers you can simplify or break down a bigger number into. Okay, so 27 and 9 I knew were in the 3 times table, so I thought of logging to a base 3. Okay, and that's how you do that question. Okay, so next question. It says solve by factorization, and the question is y squared minus 7y minus 30 equals 0. Okay, so first thing, coefficient 1, coefficient 2, coefficient 3. First thing we need to do is, there's an invisible 1 here, so I'm going to put 1 there. It's 1 times -3. So 1 times -30 is -30. Okay, now you might think that's pretty straightforward. Why am I doing that? Because sometimes there might be a number here and then this step becomes important. Okay, so that's the first thing you do, -30. So I need to now find numbers or factors that multiply to give me -30 and add up to give me -7. So what have I got? 30 times 1, 3 times 10. Okay, I think I've got it. Yes, I can do this. I can do 3 minus 10 gives me -7. Okay, now I need to rewrite this equation with -7y equals 3y minus 10y. Okay, so do y squared plus 3y minus 10y minus 30 equals 0, okay? I'm going to put brackets around here, and I'm going to factorize each one of these brackets. So I'm going to y plus 3 minus 10, y plus 3 equals 0. I can factorize these brackets again. Y plus 3 times y minus 10 equals 0. Therefore y is equal to minus 3, okay? Because this will become 0, so that becomes 0, or y equals 10. If I substitute this into this, that becomes 0 and that becomes 0, okay? And so we solved it, okay? And that's 3 marks. Right, next question. I'm going to actually show you this one. Hopefully you can see. It says, let me just show it to you. So, this one, it says, here's the function, okay? X squared minus 1 over x minus 4, okay? And we can't have x equals to 0. It says complete the table, okay? Okay, so this is actually done by my student. Okay, originally this would have been a blank, that would have been a blank, and basically how would you have found that? Well, basically you would just substitute minus 1 into the x's and it would have given you minus 2, substitute the 2 into the x's and it would have given you minus 5, okay? Next thing, on the grid, draw the graph of y equals fx for minus 3, x between minus 3 and minus 1, 0.1, and then x between 0.2, positive 0.2 and positive 3, okay? Now, this is a very straightforward question for 5 marks to draw this graph correctly. All you need to do is plot these points, okay? And you should get a line that looks something like this, okay? So, you've got an original curve here, then you've got this curve here, okay? This line is for a later question, okay? So that's how you do that question. Right, it says, use your graph to solve the equation fx equals 0, okay? So, basically fx equals 0 equals y equals 0. So if we look at our graph, y equals 0 is essentially this line, okay? Because y is 0 all the way. And basically you have to read off the points here, here, and here, okay? Because that's where they intersect. Okay, so this curve intersects twice, and this line intersects once, okay? And for 3 marks, okay, if you said minus 1.9, minus 0.2, 2.2, you would have got the answers, okay? Right, next question. It says, find an integer k for which fx equals k has one solution. Okay, so again, y equals k. Again, if we look at our graph, this is another straightforward question. Basically, this, if y equals x, or function of x equals 0, has got 3 solutions, okay? If, however, we drop this line so that it passes down here, okay, minus 3 or minus 4, up to minus 9, any of those values would give us one solution, okay? And that's what k is. Okay, we would just want one solution. So your answer is essentially any value between minus 3 to minus 9. Okay? And you just draw your line across there. Okay? Right. By drawing a suitable line, solve the equation function of x plus 2 equals minus 5x. Okay, so first things first, it says function of x. So just from that previous question, k would be anywhere from minus 3 to minus 9, okay? Right. Okay, next question. So function x, we need to draw a line, function x plus 2 equals minus 5x. Okay? So this equals y equals minus 5x minus 2. Okay? So essentially we need to draw this line on our graph, and we need to see where it intersects, okay? So we can see it's going to have a negative gradient of minus 5, and it's going to intersect the y-axis at minus 2, okay? So if you drew that line, okay, remember I said that this line here, Okay, so remember I said that this middle line here becomes important later. Well, this is the line that my student has drawn. Okay, it intersects at -2 and it has a gradient of -5. Okay, and our solutions are this one and that one. Okay, and those are 0.8 and -0.3. Okay, positive 0.8 and -0.3. And basically, how did he work it out? Basically, okay, here's one point where it intersects. I look on the x-axis here. Okay, that's -0.3. Yeah, and if I go up here, this is positive 0.8 for the x. Okay, so those are my two solutions. Right, next bit. Find the values of a and value of b if function of x plus 2, okay, equals -5x. Okay? And it can be written as x cubed plus ax squared plus bx minus 1 equals 0. Okay? So, firstly, what was fx? Fx, let me just write it here, was x squared minus 1 over x minus 4. Okay, that was our original equation. Now it's telling us that original equation we need to plus 2 and then equals -5x, okay, and to give us this form. So, how do we do that? Well, first of all, let's write this. So, x squared minus 1 over x minus 4 plus 2, and I'm going to plus the 5x to this side, so equals 0. Okay, so I've got that. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply x to everything to give me x cubed. So it becomes x cubed. This becomes -1 because the x's cancel out. Minus 4x plus 2x plus 5x squared equals 0. Okay, collect like terms. X cubed plus 5x squared minus 4 plus 2x is minus 2x, and then minus 1 equals 0. Okay, and it says to have in that form, now we've got an a and now we've got a b. So a equals 5 and b equals -2. Next question. It says, Kia plays a game. The game involves throwing a coin into a circular board. Okay, circular board looks like this. 20 in the middle, then 10, and 5 on the outside. Okay. So, points are scored for where the coin lands on the board. If the coin lands on a part of a line or misses the board, then 0 points are scored. The table shows the probabilities of Kia scoring points on the board with 1 arrow. Okay, so in the exam it has this table here with this x, and it says find the value of x. Well, all probabilities have to add up to 1. So if you added 0.45 plus 0.3 plus 0.2, it will give you 0.95. So therefore, x equals 0.05. Okay, 1 minus 0.95. Next question. It says, Kia throws a coin 50 times. Okay, work out the expected number of times she scores 5 points. Okay, so I've already done this. Basically, you'd have to do 0.3, which is the probability of getting a 5, and times 50 to give us 15. Okay? Right, part C. Kia throws a coin 2 times. Calculate the probability that she scores either a 5 or 0 with her first throw. So, a 5, 0.3, okay, is the probability. A 0 is 0.45. So what have I done? Because it says or, I've got a plus sign. So I did 0.3 plus 0.45. Okay, that's 0.75, which equates to 75%. Okay, next question. She scores 0 with her first throw and 5 with her second throw. Okay, so 0 with a first row is 0.5, and a 5 with a second, and because it says and, I need to multiply it. So it's 0.45 times 0.3 equals 0.135, which is 13.5%. Okay? Right. Next question. She scores, so find the probability that she scores a total of 15 points with her throws. Okay? So how do we get 15 points? Well, 10 plus 5, or sorry, I'm going to do, yes, 10 plus 5 or 5 plus 10. There's the only two possibilities. So what have I done here? I did 0.2 times 0.3 plus 0.3 times 0.2. Okay, so those are the two possibilities, which gives me 0.12 or 12%. Okay, so that's how you do that question. Next question. Kia throws a coin 3 times. Calculate the probability that she scores a total of 10 points with her 3 throws. So, what have I done here? I've listed all the possibilities. So she could do 5, 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 5, or 10, 0, 0, 0, 10, 0, or 0, 0, 10. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different combinations. Okay? For the first combination, okay, I've multiplied 0.3 times 0.3 times 0.45, okay? Those are the corresponding probabilities, and I've times 3 to that, okay? Because they would occur 3 times. Then, for 10, 0, 0, I did 0.2 times 0.45 times 0.45 times 3 to that, okay? So you can see here, the times 3 of that value is 0.1215, and believe it or not, also this times 3 equals 0.1215, okay? Then I just need to basically add these together and multiply 1 by 2, and it will give me 0.243, which equates to 24.3%. Okay? And that's how we answer that question. Right, next question. So here's a diagram. It shows a cuboid. This one's a better one, okay, with the corresponding lengths of each side. Write down the number of planes of symmetry of this cuboid, okay? So up here, I've basically drawn the lines of symmetry. So if we cut it in half there, that's one line of symmetry. If we cut it in half there, that's one line of symmetry. If we cut it in half down the middle there, it's also another line of symmetry, okay? So the answer to that question, there are 3 planes of symmetry in that cuboid, okay? Work out the surface area of this cuboid. So basically, I just need to do 35 times 30, which is here, okay? Then times that by 2, because there are 2 faces of that area. Then I need to do 60, this length, times 35, and then times 4, because there are 4 faces of that area. That gives me 9,900 centimeters squared if you did that on your calculator, okay? Next question. Write down your answer in this part in square meters, okay? So what have I done here? I basically 9,900 divided by 10,000, and that will give me 0.99 meters squared, okay? And I've just shown you the conversion here for future reference. If we want to go from 1 centimeter squared to, with 3 zeros and a 1 meter squared, divide by 10,000 and vice versa, times by 10,000 to go the other way, okay? Right, next question. It says, calculate length AG. So I'm going to draw AG here. Okay, so it's going to go from this side of the cuboid to that G, to that side. Okay, now in order to do this, notice I'm going to draw a line from A to C to give me the bottom length of this triangle here. You have to imagine this is in 3D, and I'm going to use Pythagoras' theorem. So I'm going to use this length plus this length, which is 30 centimeters, to give me length AG. Okay? But to work out length AC, I'm going to do 60 squared plus 35 squared, square rooted, which is this here. Okay? That gives me 69.5 centimeters. So this is 69.5 centimeters, this length here. Now I know that 69.5 centimeters, and I know this is 30 centimeters. I can add that squared plus this squared, square root that, and it will give me what I want in the question, AG. So that's what I've done. Done 69.5 squared plus 30 squared, square root that, gives me 75.7 centimeters. and that's 4 marks, okay? So that's that question. Next question, it says, work out the angle between AG, okay, and the plane or the base ABCD. So it's basically this angle, okay? So how am I going to do that? Basically, I can redraw this triangle, and I've already done that here. Okay, so basically, I've redrawn the triangle, and I'm going to use trigonometry, okay? And I'm going to use sine x, which is this is the angle I'm trying to work out, and sine equals opposite over the hypotenuse, okay? So for trigonometry, remember this, SOHCAHTOA, sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. If it was cosine, it would be adjacent, which is this line here. It's the side closest to the angle you're searching for. Or TOA, tangent, will be tan opposite over adjacent. Okay? But in this case, we're using sine x, so it's 30 over 75.7. Then on your calculator, you need to do shift sine that answer, and it will give you 23.35 degrees. Next one. It says, show that the volume of the cuboid is 63,000 centimeters squared. Okay, this is a very, very straightforward one. If I go back, basically you just need to do 30 times 35 to give us this area, times 60 will give us volume. That's what I've done here. Okay, 63,000 centimeters squared. Okay, and that's 1 mark in the exam. Next question. A cylinder of height 40 centimeters. Okay, so here's my cylinder. The height is 40 centimeters, okay? Has the same volume as the cuboid, so same volume as this. Calculate the radius of the cylinder. Okay, so this is still going to be pi r squared. Okay, the cross-sectional area, because it's a circle, and I know the height. So basically, what have I done? The volume is going to be pi r squared times h. I know h in the question, it's 40, so I'm going to basically solve for r. So see what have I done here? Basically, 63,000 was the volume, divide by pi, divided by h, which was 40 here, and then square root that, and it gives me 22.4 centimeters. Okay? Right, next question. Right, so this question is quite a challenging one. Okay, it's a very long question. Let me break it down for you. So, in the question, you are given this diagram. Okay, this is point A, this is point B, this is the origin of a circle, this is 210 degrees, 8 centimeters is the radius, or this length of this triangle, and by default this is also 8 centimeters, okay? So I'm going to write that 8 centimeters. You know this is also 8 centimeters, it's given to you in the question, this is 72 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees. And it says, firstly, show that angle OAB, which is this, OAB is 15. Okay? Well, firstly, this is 210, and every circle adds up to 360. So look what I've done. I've done 360 minus 210 equals 150 degrees. So this is 150 degrees. And 150 degrees plus these two angles have to add up to 180. So I've done 180 minus 150 gives me 30. Because this is an isosceles triangle, two lines of the same length, I can do 30 divided by 2, which is 15. So therefore, it's 15. Okay? Each one of these angles are 15. Right, next question. It says, calculate the length of the straight line AB. Okay, so how do I do this question? I'm going to use the sine rule. Okay, what is the sine rule? Basically, this length divided by sine of this angle, which is 150, okay, has to equal this length divided by the angle opposite to it. Okay, so that's the sine rule. So you can use a length over the sine of that of its opposite angle over another length over the sine of that opposite angle. Okay, and you can use that law to find one of the unknowns. Okay, so let's see what I've done. So I did AB, which is the length I want to find. Okay, divided by sine 150, which is its opposite angle. So this is 150. Let me write that in. So this is 150. Okay. So over 150 equals 8. 8 divided by This is the opposite. I'm going to write 15 degrees, and this is 15 degrees. Okay, 8 over sine 15. Okay, so that's what I've got here. Rearrange and solve for AB. So AB becomes 8 times sine 150 times 150 to both sides divided by sine 15 gives me 15.45 centimeters if you do that on your calculator. Okay. Next question. It says calculate the angle ABC, which is this angle here. So now next question wants me to calculate this angle ABC. How do I do that? I'm going to use the sine rule as well, okay? I'm going to do a sine, and I'm just going to write what I found out in the last question. This is 15.45 centimeters, okay? So, I'm going to do 15.45 centimeters divided by sine of its opposite, 72, equals 8 divided by sine of this, okay? So, what have I done here? I did 15.45 over sine 72 equals 8 over that. Solve for x, okay, so what have I done? Sine x to that, divided by 15.45 times sine 72. Okay, so what have I done? And then I inversed sine to give me x, and I will get 29.5 degrees Celsius is my final answer. Okay, so this is 29.5 degrees. Okay. And that's going to be useful later on. So, next question. Calculate the total area of the logo design. Okay, so how do we do this one? First things first, notice this is a segment of a circle. Okay, it's 210 degrees. Okay, we know the total area for a circle is pi r squared. What is pi? Pi is actually 360 degrees, or signifies 360 degrees. So in order to find the area of this segment, basically I'm going to work out a fraction of pi. 210 over 360 times pi, to give me the fraction of pi, times r squared, and 8 was the radius, so rewind the video just to verify that, squared. So the area of the segment of the circle is going to be 117.3 centimeters squared. Okay. Next thing, if you go back and rewind the video, you will see that there is the smaller of the two triangles. Okay, there's a triangle here and another triangle there. But we're going to work out the area of this triangle first. Okay. So first thing, we know that this length AB is 15.45. Just divide that in 2, it will give me 7.725 centimeters. Okay? Then I'm going to use Pythagoras to work out this length. Okay? And do 8 squared minus 7.725 squared square rooted will give me this length, which is 2.1 centimeters. Okay? Now I'm going to work out the area of this small triangle, which is half times base times height. So my base is 15.45. My height is 2.1, divided by 2, gives me 16.1 centimeters squared, or 16.2, depending on where you rounded your values, okay? So this is the area of the smaller triangle. Next one, remember there's one more triangle we need to work out, which is this triangle, okay? Okay, so we've already split this triangle into two triangles. We know that this angle here is 29.5 from the previous questions. 8 over sine 29.5 equals x over this angle. Okay, and I'm going to work out x. And this angle is given by 180 minus 72, which is this angle here. Okay, which in the question, if I show you here, it's actually given to us. Okay, 72 is given to us. So 72 plus our 29.5 here, plus this angle has to equal 180. So I do 180 minus 72 minus 29.5 gives me 78.5 degrees. Okay, so this is 78.5 degrees. So I do x over sine 78.5 equals 8 over sine 29.5. Okay, I've done it here. Okay, x I get to equal 15.9 centimeters or 16 centimeters. I'm just going to use the sine rule to help me work out y. So it's y over opposite sine 29.5, and x, which is 16 over sine 90. Okay, so here's the working here. I solve for y. Y gives me 7.8 centimeters. So the area of the larger triangle then becomes half times base times height, half times 15.45, which was this length, okay, times 7.8, which is this length, is the height, okay, and half that, and it gives me 60.6 centimeters squared. Finally, so what do I do with all of that? I need to, yes, here we go. I need to now add up all the areas. Okay, I need to add up all the areas. So, 117.3 centimeters, okay, was from our segmented circle. Okay, that's the first shape. Plus 16.2 was from our smaller triangle, which is this. Okay, plus the last bit, 16.6 centimeters squared, which is what we worked out lastly, and the total area of the logo is 194 centimeters squared. Okay, so that is a very difficult question. Again, please pause the video, rewind it to make sure you've got everything. Next question. It says the logo design is an enlargement with a scale factor 4 of the actual logo. Calculate the area of the actual logo. Okay, so because it's a scale factor of 4, that scale factor works with length, but area is length squared. So I do 194 divided by 4 squared gives me, that's 194 divided by 16, 12.1 centimeters. So the original, or the area of the actual logo, is 12 centimeters squared. Okay, so just be aware, if it's area, we need to multiply the scale factor by itself. Okay, so area is a square of a length. Okay, next question. We have function f x equals 5x plus 7, gx equals 4x minus 3. Okay, and x cannot be 3. So how do we solve this? The first thing, it says find f g1. Okay, first of all, substitute 1 into gx, so that gives me 4, 1 minus 3. This is 4 minus 2 equals minus 2. Okay. Now I need to, now function of g to the 1 is function of minus 2, so I'm going to substitute minus 2 into this. So it gives me 5 minus 2 plus 7 minus 10 plus 7 equals minus 3. Okay. Next thing, what about this? G f x. Okay, so we do the opposite. First of all, fx is 5x plus 7. I'm going to substitute this into this. So this is equal to 5x plus 7 minus 3. Okay, well, this is a nice straightforward one. 5x, 7 minus 3 is plus 5. Sorry, 4. Okay, that's your answer. Okay, what about g minus 1 to the x? Okay, what about this one? So, to do this one, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to rewrite gx equals 4 over x minus 3, as I'm going to substitute this as y equals 4 over x minus 3. Then, watch this carefully, we need to swap the y's with the x's. So it becomes x equals 4, y minus 3. Okay, what does that translate to? I need to rearrange for y. So this becomes y equals 4 over x plus 3. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Okay, so thing to remember is gx, write that as y, and then swap y's and x's, and then make y the subject. Okay. Now lastly, in this question, it says f to the minus 1 over f and 2. Anytime you see something like this, okay, it could be g to the minus 1, g, and whatever value, they just cancel out, okay? And the answer in this case is going to be 2. Okay? So that's that one. Right, next question. It says show that, it says show that fx is equal to gx. Okay? So fx equals gx, and then show that 5x squared minus 8x minus 25 equals 0. Okay? So, if I look back at what my values of fx's and gx's, I'm basically going to equate them. So I'm going to say 5x plus 7 equals 4x minus 3. Okay? So, how do I do this? Well, 5x plus 7, I'm going to multiply it by x minus 3 equals 4. Expand these out, so this becomes 5x squared minus 15x plus 7x. 7 times minus 3, okay, minus 21, and I'm going to minus 4 as well, equals 0. Okay, and what am I left with? Well, I'm left with exactly what it wants me to find out. Show that, okay? That's 8x minus 25 equals 0. Okay, and that's for 3 marks. Now I need to solve this, okay? So there's 2 ways of solving this formula. You can use the quadratic formula, okay, which is x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, and if you're wondering what do these letters stand for, well, it stands for, if this is the general form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Those are your coefficients. Okay, coefficient 1, coefficient 2, coefficient 3. So a is there, b is there, and c is there. So just be aware of the minus signs here. And you get 2 solutions, okay, with the square root sign, okay? But I'm actually going to solve this quadratic by completing the square, okay? So just to show you all methods, okay? And completing the square is a little bit longer, okay? But it's worth knowing. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to divide every single number by 5, okay? So that gives me, if I divide by 5, it gives me x squared minus 8 over 5x. For those of you who don't know, 5 over 5, they cancel, okay? Minus 5, 25 over 5 is 5, equals 0, okay? Then, and here's the clever bit, in completing the square, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to basically, this middle term, so the b term, I'm going to divide by 2 and then square it. And I'm going to add a term to this side and add a term to this side. So, watch carefully. So, x squared minus 8 over 5x plus 8 over 5 divided by 2. Okay, so I've divided this by 2 squared. And I'm actually going to move the 5 to this side. So 5, and because I have to do the same to both sides, I'm also going to do it here. 8 divided by 2 squared. Okay, just going to rewrite that quickly. 8 to the minus 5, over x, plus an 8 over 2 simplifies to 4, so it becomes 4 over 5 squared equals 5 plus 4 over 5 squared. Okay, so I'm going to write this out properly. So x squared minus 8 over 5x plus 16 over 25 equals 5 plus 16 over 25. Okay, I'm going to add these two together. Okay, I need to make the denominator the same. Okay, so I'm going to times 25 to top and bottom to this one. So this becomes 125 over 25 plus 16 over what? 25 equals 141 over 25. Okay? Now, x squared minus 8 over 5x plus 16 over 25, believe it or not, actually equals this. X minus 4 over 5 times x minus 4 over 5, and I'm going to say that's equal to 141 over 25. Okay? Okay, what does that translate to? Translates to x 4 over 5 squared equals 141 over 25. Okay, so hopefully you can see where I'm heading with this. So, means that's square root of 141 over 25 plus or minus equals x minus 4 over 5. Therefore my x is going to be 4 over 5 plus or minus 141 over 25. Okay? And you just, on your calculator, do that and you should get 2 answers. Okay? So that's that question. Right. A line joins points A, which is -2, -5, and B. So here are 2 coordinates, 4 and 13. Okay. Calculate the length AB. Okay, so there's a formula, okay, that if you had coordinates x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, the distance between both would be square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so this is a formula you have to learn. Okay, if we sub in the numbers, I get 4 minus 2, okay, it becomes 6 because they plus. 13 minus 5, okay, they plus together as well. Okay, and if you did that on your calculator, you would get 19. It's the distance between those coordinates. Okay. Next question. It says, find the equation of the line through A and B. Give your answer in the form of y equals mx plus c. Okay, so to do this question we need to work out gradient first of all. Gradient is m, and to work out gradient it's equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, so if I put those numbers in, it's 13 minus 5 and divided by 4 minus 2. Okay, equals 18 over 6 equals 3. So my gradient is 3. Now they want it in y equals mx plus c. I've now worked out the m. I just need to substitute any of these points. Could be these points or that point, okay, to give me my c. Okay, so I'm going to substitute these points. I'm going to put y equals -5. So -5 equals 3 times -2 plus c. Okay, it's -5 equals -6. Plus c, so therefore c equals -1. Okay, so my final equation is going to be y equals 3x minus 1. Okay, next question. Another line is parallel to AB and passes through the point 0, -5. So okay, so this time, say one, so I've already, let's say this is my line, okay, it should actually be steeper. But another line is parallel but passes through -5, okay, so it's going to be a bit lower down, okay. What's the formula? Well, if it's parallel, it's going to have the same gradient, so it's going to be y equals 3x, the only difference is going to pass through -5, so it's going to be -5, okay, that's the equation. And lastly, find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of A and B. So if this was A and B, the perpendicular bisector would essentially be a line that goes like that. That's 90 degrees, and it's going to be 90 degrees at the midpoint. Okay, so how do we do this question? Okay, first things first, we need to find the midpoint, okay, of the 2 coordinates. So to find the midpoint of 2 coordinates, we do, okay, x1 plus x2 divided by 2 will give us our first midpoint. Then we do y1 plus y2 divided by 2 to get our next midpoint, okay. and if you put these in, so minus 2 plus 4, okay, and y1 and y2, minus 5 plus 13. Okay, what does that give us? So minus 2 plus 4 is 2 divided by 2, it's 1. Minus 5 plus 13 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so we have our midpoints. Okay, now the next thing to remember, that the gradient of the perpendicular bisector is equal to the negative reciprocal of the original gradient. Okay, so our original gradient was 3, meaning our new gradient, so if originally was that, the new m is going to be equal to minus 1 over 3. It's a negative reciprocal. Reciprocal is 1 over. Okay, and finally, to work, because we want it to be y equals mx plus c, okay, to work out c, we're going to just input these midpoint values to work out c. So therefore, y is 4, so 4 equals 3 times 1 plus c, so what does that give us? 4 minus 3 equals c, so c is 1, so therefore our answer is going to be y equals minus 1 over 3x plus 1. And that's the end of these questions.